Yesterday, I was running some 420 miles in my Alpha Flies when I realized running had gotten too easy. So in this video, I bought 5 of the slowest shoes in the world, and I'm gonna be seeing how fast I can run a mile in each of them. Starting with the Crocs. Now, Spitzer Brown, the Athlete Special, ran a 4:18 in these. Is that beatable? We're about to find out. So I threw on the Crocs and got ready to run the first all-out mile. All right, let's roll. I got ready to rip, but my first reaction to the Crocs was that they were way too loose. I even had them in sport mode, but they felt like they were going to fly off my feet at any second, and I kind of had to adapt my running form. These are so loose. Even though the Crocs were pretty loose, I was still running pretty quick. There was a surprising amount of bounce in the Crocs, and I knew at worst I was gonna end up running sub 6. The back handle kind of got moved up my ankle a little bit, and that helped make them feel not so loose. I started to pick up the pace for the last lap and end it with a 5:42 for the mile. 5:42 overall, not bad for our first mile in slow shoes. But this next pair is gonna be even slower. This might be the deadliest injury risk in history. Our second mile here is gonna be in high heels. Let's put these on. Let's see how they feel. I'm scared, guys. I threw on the high heels, which was harder than expected, and then it was time to stand for the first time. Okay. Oh my gosh, bro. This is unbelievable.
Dude, looking down, I'm kind of like, is this a lady? And then I look up and I'm like, oh no, it's just Tyler. I don't know. Your legs are pretty hairy.
Maybe for your legs, this will look good.
Yeah, maybe I didn't put these things on.
This literally might be the end of my running career. 3, 2, 1. Go. Okay. I think I just need to stay in rhythm. I honestly thought I was going to wipe out immediately, but somehow, some way, I was actually moving along pretty nicely. Things were going decently well, but that's when the problems began to happen. Oh! The more tired I got from running in these, the more I was twisting my ankle. And it was painful. Oh my gosh. Oh. Bro, oh my gosh. Somehow I was still going at it, but as I headed down the home stretch, I just kept twisting my ankles, and honestly, I was in severe pain. I made it through 1 lap though, and I was ready for 3 more until... This is so bad, bro. This is terrible. Been through knock. Oh my... Oh. All right, that might be it. All right, I'm done. Oh my gosh, my toes, bro. My toes. Mile number 2, DNF. For our 3rd mile, we might have the craziest shoes yet. These inflatable shoes. But before we run the mile in them, let me tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Amazfit. So for both the miles I've ran so far, I've been tracking with the watch the Amazfit Balance 2. The Balance 2 is amazing for taking your training to the next level. Let's dive into some of the stats on the watch from the Crocs mile. So it looks like my average heart rate was 175, but you also get a lot more advanced stats, like my vertical oscillation was 7.8. And on top of that, you can see all my heart rate zones. Most of it was in the maximum. You can also see the power I generated, which was an average of 397. And this watch doesn't just give you like the standard data and GPS tracking, but you also get free AI generated training plans through the Zepp app. And speaking of the Zepp app, you can log into it and see statistics on readiness, sleep, nutrition, a whole bunch of stuff all covered in one app. So if you're interested in taking your training up a notch, click the link in the description and use the code Tyler to get 10% off your Amazfit Balance 2. Thank you so much to Amazfit for sponsoring this video. And now let's move on to our inflatable shoes mile. The inflated part makes them look cushioned, but really there's like nothing there. These low-key have like 0 support, but they feel a lot better than the high heels. So it shouldn't be a DNF. Let's see what the mile is. All right, here we go. Inflatable shoes mile. Oh my gosh. I really have almost no way to explain how it felt to run in these shoes, except that it was kind of painful. These are deadly. There was basically just one sheet of plastic between my feet and the ground, which made it so that I could still run. But the shoes themselves were so large and bulky that they kept hitting each other, and I had to make sure that I was running heavily on my heels. All of that said, I was still running pretty quickly. Not quite as fast as the Crocs, but I was feeling confident that I could put up a pretty good time as long as I didn't wipe out, which was a huge concern considering how awkward these shoes were. I knew the next shoes coming up were going to be deadly to my body, so I tried to shift it into high gear to finish out this mile as fast as possible. I kicked it home and ended up running a respectable 6:23 mile. Oh my gosh, that was so deadly. 6:23 mile, I'm shocked it was that fast. My feet are cooked. I mean, basically every mile in this video is, will I get injured? And with that, let's go on to the 4th mile. Now the 4th mile is gonna be in the moon shoes. Now they're meant for someone probably lighter than me, but I'm also a pretty small guy. So I threw on the moon shoes and they were not what I expected. These are like surprisingly shaky. Oh my gosh, they're really bouncy. I mean, this feels great, but running might be a different story. I started my watch and got ready to rip a mile. Here we go. I legitimately feel like I'm gonna take one step and just wipe out. The mile started and I was a little surprised as I got going. Okay. The moon shoes were brutally slow, but they were actually possible to run in, unlike the high heels. I was slowly getting used to the rhythm of them and was picking up the pace. Kind of a rhythm down. It's slow but steady. The biggest thing was making sure not to accidentally hit my foot against the side of the moon shoe, or else I would wipe out guaranteed. It wasn't super tiring physically, but I literally just couldn't run any faster without falling. This is a feat of mental strength. I had to be so locked in. I kind of had my form down running in these, and I wanted to throw down as fast of a time as possible before the final mile, which had some pretty wild shoes in store. This is so much about rhythm. Last lap coming up though. I really tried to kick as best as possible, but I figured this one would be my slowest mile of the day. And sure enough, I finished out the mile in a time of 10:22. That was very hard. 10:22. It felt slow, but it was so much about keeping the right rhythm or I was gonna eat it, just like I'm about to. I cannot believe I did not fall. Like, I'm shocked I did not fall. Let's get these off and go to our final slowest shoe mile. These are crazy. And for our final mile, we will be running in clown shoes. Now these have potentially some of the worst support I've ever seen in a shoe. I mean, this thing is razor thin.
You don't need those shoes to look like a clown. Bro, this thing's shaped like a bowling ball, bro. What? Or bowling pin. This thing's shaped like a bowling pin, bro.
I laced up the clown shoes and I was ready to try and run one of my fastest times of the day. Ain't no way these are making it through the mile. Now you guys can clown me in the comments and it's actually accurate. 5th mile. Let's see how fast the cloud shoes are. The mile starts and I can tell these shoes are actually pretty fast off rip. They're made of basically nothing and weigh nothing, so it's almost like the equivalent of a barefoot mile. But the problem with a barefoot mile is that your feet get beat up so easily, and I could tell that my feet were definitely taking a pounding. These were beyond uncomfortable, but I could at least run decently fast, unlike some of the previous shoes, so I was giving it everything I had. I knew that I was running pretty quick and tried hard to kick it in, finishing the clown shoe mile in a 5:45. 5:45? Second fastest mile of the day. Right here you can watch me run in band shoes. Right here you can watch me run in illegal shoes. I'll see you guys soon in the next video.